Today I'm going to talk to you about a full unit all at once because this unit involves your really your cornerstone paper and arguably the most difficult part of the entire semester. So what you're going to do is you're going to take three different things: a short story, which is actually part of a novel, a play, and a movie, and you're going to synthesize all three into an overriding question that you're going to address. So what I want to do is go over the question first, and then I'll talk about the three works separately. So you are going to examine an excerpt from the book, The Things They Carried. It's actually a short story that was published before the book came out called Speaking of Courage, and it is now a cornerstone chapter in the book. You're going to read a play called Bringing It All Back Home, and then you're going to watch a movie from 1989 called Born on the 4th of July. And we're looking for the emotional impact of war on a soldier and his or her family after they come back from war. All of these are set in the Vietnam era, and you're going to be looking at not just PTSD, but the impact that PTSD has on the family. So what I want you to do is write a 3 to 5 page paper. You're going to use MLA formatting, just like you did in Comp 1. It should reflect the correct formatting, correct in-text citations, as well as the works cited page. You can find all that information on the Purdue OWL website. And then you're going to discuss, the question is the residual emotional impact of war on a soldier and the soldier's loved ones. And I asked a larger question: is the battle after the war as painful, or does it require more perseverance than the actual war? So maybe it's the survivors who suffer the most because they deal with the residual impact of war. So in your paper, you must reference all three works directly. That means I must have at least one quote from each of the works that I have given you. You must also use 2 additional sources. Those could be about PTSD. They could be articles that you find about soldiers and trauma. Lots of different information you can find on that. And then you're going to have a works cited page. Your works cited page should have 5 sources listed, the 3 works, and then your 2 additional source works that you're going to find. That is not included in the 3 to 5 pages. So let's kind of do a quick overview of the work. The first is the movie. It's called Born on the 4th of July. It was an Oliver Stone film that won the Academy Award for Best Picture and Best Director in 1989. It stars Tom Cruise. You can get this movie on Amazon Prime. You can rent it on Amazon Prime. You can rent it on Apple TV or Fandango. You can rent it on YouTube TV also, or YouTube Movies. There's lots of different ways you can get it. This movie tells the true story of Ron Kovac, a Vietnam vet who suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. And it really digs into his life after the war. He was kind of a gung-ho soldier going in, and then he got wounded, and his life entirely changed after he returned from Vietnam. So you're going to watch that, and then you're going to read the chapter from The Things They Carried called Speaking of Courage. And Speaking of Courage chronicles one of the Vietnam soldiers, Norman Bowker, and his struggle to fit in his hometown after the war, and how he really doesn't have any place to go. So symbolically, he just drives around the lake in a big circle, just like his life is spinning in circles. And then there's a short chapter after that in the book that's called Notes, and it talks about how after the actions in this story, Norman Bowker in real life actually wound up killing himself. So it really is a compelling story. At the end of this story, you'll see that he enters into the lake, and it's actually an attempt to bring himself back to Vietnam and kind of feel that sense of belonging that he's longing for back home. And then the third thing is called Bringing bringing it all back home. It's a play written by Terrence McNally that came out in 1969, and it chronicles a family dealing with the trauma of the eldest son going to Vietnam and how they all deal with it. It's a mother and her younger son and a daughter, and how they're dealing with the trauma. And there's a little twist to it, and the whole thing is very kind of emotionally cumbersome and at times very deeply impactful. So I think you'll enjoy that. I couldn't find a performance of it to include a link, but if you can find a performance where you can watch it, you can do that too and just follow along with the play as you read it. I do know plays are meant to be performed and seen more than read, but I think you'll get the gist of the story simply by reading it. So then you're going to put all those together. You're going to find your own two sources to help you kind of support that, and you're going to create a paper that examines this. What I'm looking for in an introduction, strong background information that ends in a thesis statement about the soldiers suffering after the war. Then I'm looking for you to definitely reference all three primary works as you examine the topic, and I'm looking for you to include two additional sources that you're going to quote directly, and you need to kind of come up with this understanding of the suffering of soldiers after the war. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you.